Hello guys, welcome to my video tutorial on installing v2rayA on OpenWRT. I assume you've already set up OpenWRT, so I'm not going to go through that. The prerequisites for this are you're going to need at least 30 megabytes of free space to do it in a minimal way, 60 megabytes to do it the easy way. But if you don't have, so if we look here, I have got 60 megabytes, so I can do it perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to download around 30 megabytes of files onto our storage, and then we're going to install them. So that's why you need 60 megabytes. If you only have 30, that's fine. You can just change the location of the download into your RAM, and then you can just download into your RAM and then install into your drive. If you don't even have 30 megabytes of space, what you can do is you can connect a USB drive, and there are guides online on how to extend your router's inbuilt flash to then use that. So don't worry if you don't have enough space, that can be fixed. You just have to Google some guides. Right, so first thing we want to do is go on interface, and we want to make sure on LAN, and we want to make sure that our IP address here is different to our main IP address. So my original IP address uses 0.1.1, and they're going to clash if they use the same thing, and it's not going to work. So we're going to change that to 0.8.1. While that's changing, I'm going to plug in the Ethernet cable into my OpenWRT router. So this guide is about having your original router and then having a secondary router with VPN running on it, and they're set up via Ethernet. So what we're going to need is we're going to need a software called PuTTY installed. You can just Google it and download it. And then what we're also going to need is this website, where it's really simple. You just have to copy and paste these as install. So what we're first going to do is connect to our router. So we're going to log in as root. Root is the default on OpenWRT. If you've changed it, then you've changed it. You can just type in whatever. So again, we're going to copy that in, paste here. We're going to copy the next one, paste, copy the next one, and paste that in. While this is just downloading, if on the first one you typed in it says SSL error, don't worry, that normally fixes itself after a minute. It's just when you first plug in your router, it can sometimes give that message. So we're going to work our way through these. The next one depends on the version of OpenWRT you're using. If you're using 22.03 and later, you can install this. If you're using older than 22.03 but newer than 21.02, then you can install these. I personally never used these, but they probably work in the same way, hopefully. I'm just going to wait for this to install. So I thought I'd make this guide just because it took a lot of tinkering and trial and error for me to get it to work. Just because it was easy to get it work via Ethernet. So if I connect, my laptop directly to my OpenWRT router, yeah, the VPN worked fine, but it didn't work over Wi-Fi, and that took quite a bit of messing around with until I got it to work. So I thought other people might have the same issue, and I can help you out. So yeah, the final one we're going to install is X-Ray Core, and then we just have to install the Luki app for v2rayA. Again, just copy and pasting in, quite easy. I don't know if I mentioned it already, but to paste you need to right click. And then the final one, bam, set up, good. So now if we go back into OpenWRT, we can see here we've got status system network log out. And then if we log out and simply log back in again, we've now got services, v2rayA here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open that up. It's already enabled because of the commands we put in. We're just going to click open. It's going to ask us to set up username and password. Just put in whatever you want, really. And at this point, hopefully you've paid for a v2rayA server. I personally use TorGuard VPN. That's the best one I used by far. I'm not getting sponsored by them. I've used loads of VPNs. I have active memberships for loads of VPNs, and most of them just don't do the job well, in my opinion, generally, but especially for v2rayA, TorGuard seems to be the bomb. However, I don't obviously want to put my details onto here, so I'm just going to use some random free ones I found off the internet. Just, in terms of proof of concept to show you guys how it works. So we've got our server set up here nicely. The important thing here is we're going to go into settings. First, we can see our GFW list here, local is none. We're going to click update. Don't ask me what this is, I don't know. I just click update and it seems to work. So for transparent proxy, we want to go traffic splitting modes is the same. Leave these two as they are. For transparent proxy implementation, redirect does not work for me. System proxy does not work for me. T-proxy seems to work fine. Traffic splitting we can leave as that. This baby here is the important one. So TourGuard has a guide on how to install it. They recommend this. This does not work for me. When I put it on this, it just doesn't work with Wi-Fi for some really weird reason. But what does work for me is these two. So you can simply play around with it. Maybe this one works for you. You can just play around with these three. I'll show you how to test it at the end. You just have to play around with these three. For now, I'm going to go with this one because I know it works well. And then the rest we can keep as is. Okay, now that we've got our server set up, what we're going to do is we're going to go back into OpenWRT. And we are going to create a new Wi-Fi for ourselves. So we're going to go on add on the radio of our choice. This one seems to work for this router. It might be different for your router. Let's just call it VPN. You want to click LAN on network here. Wireless security. On encryption, we'll go on this one, WPA/WPA2. And then for the key, you can just put whatever you want really. I'll just put password 123. And then click save. And then save and apply. Wait for that to come about. And then we are going to remove the ones that we're not using. Good, and then we'll just save that one more time. Don't even know if you need to click save to be honest, but I just did anyway, just to be sure. And then next step, we're going to go back onto interfaces. Here we're going to add a new interface. We're just going to call this VPN. We're going to put it on unmanaged device. We're going to pick the one we just made. So here, VPN. Create interface. Again, for device, we're going to pick the one we just made. We're going to go to firewall settings and then go on LAN. Save that. Save and apply. So if we actually check this here, if I just click edit, you can see it's gone LAN VPN, it's got both. And likewise, if we go on wireless, if I click edit here, it has now got LAN and VPN, both. Perfect. So that means our Wi-Fi is set up. And then once we go back to v2rayA, we'll just click on our servers. We can do a little ping test, see which one's the quickest server. Pick the server to connect to. Click start there. Click start there. And it's complete, which means we're connected. So then the way to test this is we go to IP leak. And just type in IP leak, and we've got ipleak.net, it's a good website. And see, it says I am in Canada. I am definitely not in Canada. There we go, and it's testing itself to see if there are any IP leaks. If your ISP shows up here, so if your real IP address or your real internet service provider shows up here, it means there's an IP leak and the proxy is not working. And if that is the case, then you need to go back here, go to settings, mess around with this, try another one of these, see what works. If you want to, you can mess about with this as well. You might have better luck, but T-proxy is the only one that works for me. And just to prove it to you, I have connected to the router. As you can see, it's connected to VPN. And IP leak, it is working absolutely fine. It is not showing my real IP address or my ISP, which means the VPN is working great. And that is it. Best of luck to you all.